What up, everybody? Look at that cute little sleepyhead there. Anyway, though, I'm gonna get back. Just gonna get to the point here. You know, a lot of these people that are hating on Nintendo for whatever reason, they're a bunch of hypocrites. So I'm just gonna keep it real on that. Why do I say they're hypocrites? Well, the latest thing they're complaining about now is the new Nintendo Switch 2 Joy-Cons. The ones that are different color or whatever. And then they're complaining about the price point of it. And they're saying, oh, what they done was the bare minimum. Well, I mean, that may be the true. That definitely is true and everything. But here's the thing. You know, do you people ever complain about the price point of an Xbox One controller? Or the price point of a PlayStation 5 controller or anything? No, you don't. It's always Nintendo. Nintendo can't even... It don't matter what Nintendo does. These people are going to hate on Nintendo no matter what. But I guarantee you they'll never call out the other companies who are guilty of the same things. You know, at least I can, and no, I'm not no fanboy or nothing, man. I've called Nintendo out on many things. I've called PlayStation out on many things. I've called Xbox out on many things. You know, I don't have this biasness, towards one company or the other. So, yeah. It's like, oh, the Nintendo Switch 2 is like priced at $450. And meanwhile, the PS5 came out priced at what, 600 when it first came out? And for the longest time, heck, I would even say to this day, there's still real no incentive to even go out and get a PS5. Because pretty much all the best games can still be played on the PS4. So, yeah. Because they keep making PS4 editions of every single game they come out with. There's only been like 2 games, maybe 3 tops, that have actually been exclusive to the PS5 era that's actually even worth getting a PS5 for, if we're going to be honest. Like, maybe the new Ghost of Tsushima game, or the sequel to Ghost of Tsushima. I mean, I don't know exactly what it's called, but yeah, there's that. There's the new Ratchet and Clank game. Maybe Demon Souls, if you're into that series. And then eventually, there's going to be the upcoming, or I guess there's Spider-Man 2, if you like Spider-Man 2, and then there's also, the new upcoming Wolverine game. But yeah, I mean, all in all, that's like, what, 5 games? Something like that. And the PlayStation 5's been out how long now? Just saying. So, if you want to be perfectly honest, the PlayStation 5 is technically doing worse than the Switch 2. Just gonna keep it real on that. And I got a Series X, and I gotta say, man, there really ain't been no huge stellar games coming to that system either. Just gonna keep it real. Quite frankly, when it comes to console gaming, the Switch 2 is probably the better way to go at the moment. Especially since Xbox and Microsoft decided to be a bunch of ding-dongs and raised the price up of the Xbox One for no reason. They didn't add anything or do anything to warrant that price increase. So, yeah. So basically, when it's all said and done, outside of PC gaming, when it comes to the console, market, the best way to go right now is the Switch 2. The thing's only been out for what, like 6, 7 months, something like that. We probably still got a good 8 years or longer before they make a Switch 3 or whatever the hell they decide to call the next Nintendo system. We'll have plenty of years with good releases. And I can't remember the name of the YouTuber, but I watched the YouTuber talk about what games we got during the launch time of the Switch 1 versus what we're getting of the Switch 2, and I gotta agree with him. We are getting much better games, within the first year of the Switch 2 than what we did with the Switch 1. When we're talking about what games are actually exclusive to the system. Because people really can't use Breath of the Wild when it came to the Switch 1, given the fact that game is also on the Wii U. Now, I understand not too many people owned a Wii U. Okay, fine. But at the end of the day, that game still was not an exclusive title to the Switch 1. So, yeah. So what was the real first exclusive title we actually got for Switch 1? What, Splatoon 2? A game that's mainly just aimed for the online community and has little to nothing to offer for the offline single player. So, I mean, yeah, if we want to be realistic, we want to be honest with ourselves here, Switch 2 has actually got a much better lineup for the first year lineup of games. It's definitely a much better system than the Switch 1 in terms of everything it can do and everything. So, yeah, I mean, I've literally seen people say, I don't know whether to get a Switch 2 or just buy a Switch 1. If you can afford to buy a Switch 2, get a Switch 2, because the Switch 2 can literally do everything the Switch 1 can do, plus more. That don't even make no sense. Oh, I don't know whether to get a Switch 1 or Switch 2. Like, you're a dumbass if you even have to think about that. I'm just going to be honest on that. I understand that it's a bit high to buy a Switch 2, but here's the thing. Again, the Switch 2 is literally backwards compatible with every Switch 1 game there is, or at least every worth mentioning Switch 1 game there is. I think there's only been like 2 games I've heard of that are not backwards compatible on it, and that's like Game Builder Garage, whoop-de-freaking-do, and then that Labo crap. Oh, whoop-de-do, you can't play with cardboard. Oh, it's the end of the world. Like, for real. Like, I'm just gonna be honest, man. I'm not trying to sound like a Nintendo fanboy, but at the end of the day, I mean, Nintendo's got more going for it, but there's more of an incentive there, rather, to get a Switch 2 over the PS5 or the Series X at this point in time. It may change in the future, but as of right now, when it comes to console gaming, the Switch 2 is a better way to go. But no, back to my original point. Every single complaint I've ever seen from all these haters, or grifters, or whatever they want to call themselves, or whatever people want to call them, whatever, it's always the same thing. Every complaint they make about the Switch 2 can literally be said about, the PS5, the Series X. I mean, hell, I've even heard that the PC is, getting to be too expensive when it comes to certain parts and things like that you need to get for it. So, yeah. But no one ever wants to, complain about the price of an Xbox One controller being like, or PS5 controller being anywhere from like $80 to $100. Well, they'll complain about, a set of Joy-Cons being $100. You do realize that Joy-Cons can technically count as 2 controllers, right? There are some games where you can just use one Joy-Con for it, like Mario Party. So, technically, if you want to think about it, you're basically paying $50 a controller there. Which is still a bit much, but regardless, at the end of the day, it's still cheaper than what it would be to get with just one, to try to go out and get 2 controllers for the Xbox or 2 controllers for the PS5. So, yeah. Again, that's why I said a lot of these people, they're just desperate. They desperately want the Nintendo to fail and everything. They want to go away. I don't know why, but it's whatever at this point. But it's like the old saying goes, haters gonna hate. Just as simple as that. That's how it's always gonna be, unfortunately. So, yeah. Y'all take care. God bless and peace.